pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. For those who came just for the meeting, we appreciate your patience as we do some budget work. I pulled up the budget book. Like this. Remember the Friendly Giant? Oh, he opened it. I guess I'm pulling it. I'm not the Friendly Giant either. Anybody remember the Friendly Giant? Very well. Okay. We have a 15-minute public comment period. Anyone to make any comments? Okay, we'll have another comment period at the end, so if you have something to say, hold on to it. We've got, first up, a resolution to accept the minutes for March 16 and April 20, with the addition of a code change awaiting an attorney wording, and also 518 and 615.
So moved.
The motion and a second.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carries. Okay, we have a resolution to reimburse Hazel Rousseau for water line repairs that are responsibility of the water district. We've had discussion with the attorney about this. There's a problem with a lateral to her home, and she had to hire a private contractor to do that. The question is the amount. The amount that I had figured was $750. I wanted to see what you thought about that. She actually was more than that, but I don't think it's totally our responsibility. So that's the figure that I was using. If anyone so moves, I'd accept the resolution to do that, motion to do that.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carries. Next up, do the assessor's report. Mike Ward is here to give us a report.
This doesn't look like a lot, but it really says a lot.
I think you wasted paper. Here, I got two.
You got two?
You're gonna have to listen twice then.
Yes, it gives you that look, you know. What I did was I went over and I talked to the county, talked to the county director. We took a look at massena.
Mike, why don't you have you stand here so we can make sure that the camera's got you in?
Really?
Yeah, you should have pounded your head, but we'll worry about that later.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know, whatever.
Well, Massena's got a unique situation here because we have a lot of people talking about how there are 700 houses for sale in Massena, and there is every house is selling for less, and that's absolutely not true. And so I contacted MLS, and in the town of Massena, there's 218 houses for sale.
Current today?
Today. Single-family homes, there's 3,227 houses in Massena. So the percentage is actually small when it comes right down to it. And that sheet I gave you, gives you the number of sales over the last 3 years. There's 358 sales. Now those sales do not include estates. They don't include foreclosures. They don't include if Nancy sold her house to her cousin. These are arm's length transactions. And this is what the state would use to do our equalization rate. So when you look at all of that, and you look at all of our neighborhoods, this is a calculation done right off the RPS system. And the weighted mean ratio is basically 97%. So that's where we're at. We're at 97%. That's a really good thing.
What's that mean, weighted mean ratio?
Well, it's basically, are we at 100% of value? We're not quite at 100%, we're at 97.
Okay.
So the state of New York is going to give us 100%. because we're above 95%. So,
Close enough.
you know, all we have to do is stay above 95% and we're at 100%.
Okay.
And being at 100% is really important because it gives a homeowner the maximum that they can get on their star exemption. It also decreases their tax bill on their school tax bill in other ways. So if I deal with other towns, I see what their tax rates are, you know, or I see what their school tax rate is, and a lot of it is, some of that is based on the equalization rate. So being at 100% is good. It also means that we don't have to have any big projects like a revaluation, because a revaluation is very expensive. And Albert can tell you, if you've ever been through a revaluation, you're going to get calls constantly.
It's not fun.
And it's getting worse. It's getting worse just because of the nature of taxes in New York State. So basically, that 96.96, or I'd say 97, is a really good indicator. Now the COD, that other number, that's not quite as strong. That means that we have some inequity. And inequity means there are some houses that are valued or assessed too low, or they may be assessed too high compared to their neighbors. Okay? And so there's some inequity. And when I went through the neighborhoods, that inequity exists mostly in the town outside, not in the village. In fact, most of our village neighborhoods came in very strong, very strong as far as that figure went. So the town outside has some small issues, but not enough that this board needs to go out and tell me that I have to do a revaluation. So and the state is not going to pay us to do a revaluation anymore anyway, so there's no really good reason to do it.
So with you, nothing precludes you from going into those places where you're seeing inequities and making adjustments.
That's exactly right, and that's what I've been doing. So I've been juggling. If I see something, sale prices are a good way to do it, because I get everybody in my office who bought a house for less, and a lot of these sales that people coming in are foreclosures. We've had quite a few foreclosures, a little unusual, but maybe that's the sign of the times. But
any idea with the numbers? I don't have that with you.
I do not know, but I could probably get you a figure on that.
Okay.
But they're not arm's length transactions, so we can't really look at them as a real sale, and people don't really understand that. I don't get anybody who comes in and says, I paid too much for the house and we erase the assessment. I haven't had anything like that. I don't understand why. So basically, this is a good grade. If you look at the sheet, Massena's in very good shape as far as what we have to do for this next year. So we don't have to do any major projects. So my suggestion, and Darren Colton's suggestion, who is the county director, is to leave things alone, juggle assessments as warranted. People who have been coming in, probably 99% of the people who have been coming in who bought houses on foreclosure, I have been sending those people on to grievance. I haven't done anything. I explained to them how the grievance process works. Let them go in front of the board of review and let them make a call. So basically, my assessor's report is right now the town of Massena is in pretty good shape as far as the state is concerned.
How much new construction in the past year?
Well, we haven't had a lot. There's a young gentleman here right now who's helped us a little bit, Mr. LeMay, and Vance Fleury's also helped us. We've had a couple new houses down in Vance's neighborhood. We have.
Do you have a figure on that, the construction?
I don't, but house that was well over 200,000, and there was another one about 175,000. Plus, we're gonna have we have another one coming this year that probably will be around 175,000. Most of the things I'm getting are garages and additions right now.
The tax sale is one of the things I wanted to ask about. So there's the building on the end of the strip across the street, which is, used to house a computer store, now it houses a tattoo business. That property was, I don't know what the assessment is there, but the assessment is X. So it sells at tax sale for $5,000. Do we leave the assessment where it was?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
I don't change
And if
those.
that person comes in and says, hey, I only paid $5,000, then you send them the agreement.
They're quitclaim deeds, and they don't reflect market value at all, so we do not. Homecroft surprisingly is very good. Homecroft came in right around 98, we're right around 98% of where the value should be, so we're not over.
There's been some houses that have sold for pretty good money, I thought, in Old Crops.
Yes, yeah, we've had a couple that have sold for lower than they should be, and I don't want to sellers.
And there's some that sold for, I don't want to say insulting, but for more than I thought they would sell for.
Right,
Didn't that house with the columns in Jefferson sell for 90?
yeah, I think that's one of the higher values
Yeah.
we've had down there.
Yeah, that's what it's.
But generally, like some of the ones that are up on McGinn's area, they seem to be going lower.
That's a different town, so fortunately.
Well, I mean,
Way up,
within,
way up.
McGinn's built, yeah. in-
Well, some in Central, they were in Rosebriar, down in, Danko,
well-
those have sold cheaply as well.
Some, yeah, but some of those were company homes that they dumped. And, so we don't consider those values as accurate values.
Yeah, but I mean, they've done that. A lot of people that have moved out, but generally speaking, is there a way to track the pricing up there? I mean, would it seem to be lower?
That neighborhood wasn't too bad. I looked at that neighborhood. It also included Mortgage Hill, so it didn't specifically just take that. We have a lot of neighborhoods in Massena that, the way it was broken up when they did the original revaluation in Massena, which was back in the 80s or early 90s, you break the town up into neighborhoods, and Homecroft is its own neighborhood. Mortgage Hill includes Riverside Parkway in that area. And that neighborhood, that whole neighborhood of Riverside Parkway and Mortgage Hill, Nightingale, and all those streets up there, they're pretty good. Their numbers were pretty good. The only numbers where I saw possibly some improvement were town outside.
Well, yeah, I saw that in the budget, that there's been changes, in the village, has gone down, and, town is, outside has increased, actually.
But, I like to get the word out to people, especially because I hear it all the time in my office when these people come in. Is there 700 houses for sale in Messina? There's not 700 houses for sale in Messina. And we have sales. We have constant deeds that we're constantly picking up. You can ask Taya's key in them. So.
Do you know how that would compare with Ogdensburg or Potsdam or Canton?
Yeah, I'm gonna catch that information. I didn't have a chance to get it, but I'm gonna see how we do. I know Potsdam is very busy. I think Potsdam market is, they have an issue with values going up. Our trend is, according to the state, we're at a flat line. We're at a 0% trend. But I think Potsdam is 2% or something.
Potsdam and Canton, don't those four colleges own a tremendous amount of property in those towns?
Yeah, they don't pay taxes on
No.
them. St. Lawrence, a couple of years ago, volunteered to pay taxes on certain properties, but Clarkson has never agreed to pay taxes on anything.
Yeah, St. Louis is they basically makes a pilot. I think what Clarkson has done in the past is purchase, fire truck or whatever, and things like that. So when we look at the decrease increase in village assessment, which is significant, $1.4 million. Is that,
I think that's legal. I think
the
that's.
certiorari's,
Yeah.
the assessment challenges?
Yep.
Our total assessment's not $1 million.
We had one sale in my report, the highest sale price, a little over 2 million is on this
Yeah, I see that,
sheet.
2.3.
That was writing. That was
Okay.
Walgreens buying writing.
Okay,
Any questions?
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, you bet.
thank you. Okay, Scott LeMay would like to talk to us about a road he'd like the town to, he'd like to dedicate to the town for us to take it over. Scott, let's see
Hey,
what you have to say.
got a drawing here, just one. That shows the road that we want to turn over. Everything about it, elevations, foot water, everything that's required,
How long is it?
as far as I know, well, around 750 feet roughly.
And what do we know about how it was built, Frank?
Just with my conversation with Scott, but there's no core samples or.
Yeah, we haven't done any core samples yet. We have finished grading to do complete on one side of the road, one ditch, and we have not done signage. We have not done the topsoil of the ditches yet. We have not done core samples yet. Frank mentioned, you know, I probably want to wait and see your thoughts on it before I go ahead and do the core samples and all that. We follow the standard specifications, you know, build the road. It's built to town specs. It's got
How old is it?
a couple months.
Oh, so it's brand new, okay.
Barrett's blacktopped it, yep.
Have we taken, is there another one up there? Do you have this one road up there or one?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a while.
Frank,
And how- Go ahead.
I believe, Scott, you were here before. We talked. You were here for a subdivision there.
Right. Turnarounds,
I haven't been up there, we asked about having a trigger on, but.
Yeah, we have the hammerhead T-turn around the top of the hill there. And I own 6 parcels of property here. But my apartments sit on 2 properties joined, my house is on there. It's quite a mess actually, because we're not able to subdivide any properties. You know, and that's going to hinder future development also.
So your house is up there, how many apartment units?
We have 20 open right now, we have 8 under construction right now, 8 units in my house.
You get 20 that are occupied, you get 8 in the works.
8 under construction, yeah.
You're just talking the road, you're not talking water and sewer, taking it over.
I put the water and sewer in the right of way, in a 66-foot right of way, I built it to set the town on Massena Road, so.
I guess we'd have to have, I would think someone, we'd have to have somebody look at the water line that was installed, because it's obviously the village.
Yeah, I was in constant communication with Haas, Fayette, everybody throughout the whole project, the sewer system, the water system, you know, everything.
Still think we need to have some conversation with them.
Yep.
So there's water line and sewer in the right of way.
Yep.
And so that comes with it, Frank?
That's why I asked the question, I think that's what he's assuming, that we would take over water and sewer.
Yep, it's within the right of way.
Okay.
You plan on building more buildings?
Yep.
And is the water line and the sewer capacity for those as well?
Yes.
How many units do you think I'll end up with?
Well, we have 100 acres land, so I don't think we're gonna have any time to.
Okay.
Business is good, we have good demand, we're gonna keep building.
What, typically, what's the unit size-wise? How many bedrooms?
We're down to 1,200 square foot units.
And let's have how many bedrooms?
It's 2 bedroom, 2 bath, ground floor, laundry room, all plants included.
What are they went for it, Bill?
800 a month. These are duplexes.
Joe, we could talk about this all night probably. I don't think there's a reason for us to talk about it, in my opinion, without Haas's evaluation of the water line and sewer. And until whatever Frank says we need with the core and everything else that has to be done before we think about taking this over.
I don't think you were looking for an answer tonight, were you?
Well, I have questions at the top of the, if you're gonna take it over at the top of the turnaround, how much land do you need, and, questions on the survey, if you need, turn it over, I don't know much, never done this before.
I would like to see core samples, I agree with that part, just so we know what's under there.
Will we get an approval contingent upon meeting all specifications, as set forth? Or,
I would like to, I don't think we can do anything until Frank has got to be from Haas and,
Well, we gotta talk to Haas, I just wanna make sure the water line, I don't know.
yeah.
the sewer is
I would
good.
assume that we would need a letter from you.
Well, the
saying
core
everything.
samples are gonna be his cost, so before you tell him to go take core samples, we better make sure we're telling him the right thing.
I'm concerned about.
But that's up
the
to
sewer.
you
What's that?
to make sure that,
what's your concern?
Oh,
We're not in the water business, Scott.
That's right.
yeah, right, I know.
So you guys don't know much about
You
it.
to
Exactly.
get him to do everything
Okay,
that he
how- How does it get billed, the water, is it in our town water district?
Yes,
Okay, so you're part of the town water district?
yeah, I pay water bill every month for all the apartments.
So you got 1 meter for all the
I've
apartments?
got 3 meters for all of them.
Okay, so 3 separate, okay.
That doesn't mean it's in the water district.
No, we'd have to have had to amend the district to bring it in.
Right now, he's responsible for all those lines, right?
Right,
It's all private.
Yeah.
right
it's
now.
all,
private.
it's all his, yeah.
I'll give you my concern. My concern is his budgets get harder and harder every year. All right, you cut my CHIPS budget by $51,000 this year. So I'm going to do a rehab of one of our roads, and I'm going to do a patch on one of our other roads. So I've got 11 roads out there that are due for something to be rehabbed. And if we continually cut the CHIPS budget, I'm not going to, I don't think the town should be taking roads over. That's my opinion. Because if I don't have money to take care of what we got, I'm gonna keep adding to it, where's the money coming from? Because I keep hearing this, we keep talking about compact money, the money's less. We're using it for more. And a lot of times, most of the time, that money goes towards road improvements, correct?
Right.
So I think we need to think long and hard for what we do here. We keep taking over more asphalt, but how are you gonna pay for it? Because when we push roads back, this means, the roads that have been paved 9 years ago, in another year, they're coming due again. So we need to do our homework.
Well, I'm not asking you to
I-
take over a road for vacant land that doesn't generate
I
taxes. My
understand.
property generates tons and tons of taxes.
Well,
Taxes are increasing
exactly.
every year.
I think
So,
that
just
we
for that
should
one-
take over as many roads as we can, because
And
you're
you're
getting
gonna have to,
assessed
you're gonna,
value.
so we're gonna have to make decisions about, in the town, what we take care of and not take care of.
No, and I agree, I think that we ought to take care of the roads. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we were redoing 3 miles, I
Yep.
think was,
But now
this
you're
year
back-
we're down to
you're
1.9.
Yeah.
It's getting less, and I don't think that's good, it's not good for the community. I think that we've got to find the money somewhere, if it's not.
Reality's reality. When we were doing that many roads, we had compact money. And it was going up every year. Now it's going down.
Yeah, but you
And
can't.
where are you going to find the money?
Well, he's building as fast as he can, we're getting assessed value out of that.
What is the assessment, do you know?
I just had it appraised before this, I don't know about the assessment, but, Mike probably knows more.
I think he's close to 400.
For all the units?
That's fully assessed to this time, or?
It's not including what he's just done.
Yeah, the new radar, the full assessment.
No.
I think that's a common fault for a lot of communities, is they back off on that. I mean, even look at the county. I mean, they're shutting bridges faster than,
So we're gonna have an increase real quick, another 500,000 by the time, top it over.
yeah. I think
$9.
that we should be developing that.
Yep.
And then we're looking at, next year's project, it said, as long as everything goes smooth. The road has a big impact on my future plans to.
I mean, look at,
You know,
Rivercrest. How many, what's that, $12 million assessed value down there?
Significant,
Yeah. I mean, it's, if we hadn't taken over the town and decided to cut back on what we paid, that wouldn't have been developed. You can only have so many houses on, dirt roads.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Steve, but, so we need to raise taxes to be able to provide the additional services. And that's, I didn't.
That's not an area I think we should cut.
That's fine, right? So that's what I'm saying, so we need to we need to decide, if we're headed down to, trying to get down to like 1 or 2% tax increase this year, which I'm concerned about, then we're on a fool's errand in my mind.
We can't get that.
I know.
No, except for the 50 cent.
But we're down to 7%.
Nobody's proposed any cuts at all.
No, I would agree, but I think I believe there are people, members of the board who would like to chip away at that. To get it lower than 7. Tom said earlier, we thought 7's too high. We haven't had an significant increase in a while, and all these obligations continue.
We owe it ourselves to make sure the water line and sewer is, I don't know anything about it, wasn't involved in that.
Yeah.
So we need to.
I agree, I think we need to at least,
Yeah, but that's something that you can take care of. And ensure, if Scott has to pay for it, to verify, I'm not against that. Same thing with the course handler. But he's our engineer, town engineer, or guy that's gonna verify that everything is right. And then once you do that, let us know, write us a letter, and we'll take the road. Or I would vote to take road, I don't know what the other.
Who installed your water and sewer?
I did.
And that's all the specifications.
I literally was in the ditch with a laser shooting the sticks, because I wanted to ensure that there's no reason why this road would be denied.
Was there soil samples taken as well?
No,
So you don't know the corrosion factor of the soil at all, was it, what type of pipe was it?
we got 8-inch HDPE sewer line, 6-inch iron duct tile water mains, standard.
The
Got
water,
manholes every 200 feet,
the ductile water main might be a problem issue though, I mean, if the soil's corrosive.
did you cover it?
It's a 6-inch iron duct tile, it's new.
But is
Plastic coated or no, or?
It meets, Mr. Hassan Fayad's specifications, everything I've done meets specifications, so very classy work.
Here's what we're finding, Scott, in some parts of the town where we've installed ductile iron, which should have lasted 40 years, 50 years,
Yeah,
it's corroding because of the chemical makeup of the soil.
right.
There's a reaction with the iron. So, some parts of the town we've done with a polyethylene sleeve over the pipes, protect it, to prevent that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So, I think when you hear us question it, that's something we're learning from past mistakes.
That's where I was heading.
We need to be more careful.
Yeah, we wanted to run the HDPE plastic water line, but I wouldn't accept that.
Oh, yeah, I know the village doesn't want that.
They don't have plastic.
Yeah, they have concerns about plastic pipes.
Okay, I'll get with Haas and Steve Daly.
Okay.
So we'll put this on the agenda for next month then.
Okay, and when I come in, what should I be prepared to do?
We need to see the core samples and Frank's gonna talk with, Haas about the village, about the water and sewer lines.
Okay, so you'd like some first samples prior to next month?
Yeah.
Well,
Or-
we're not sure.
Not some. I think you should come up with the criteria, what he needs.
Contact line testing and stuff.
And
Before you go through an expense, the other question is, you're looking at $1 million assessment, roughly you're talking, I mean, so you're kind of guessing at?
Yeah, it's continually rising.
And then it's, a road's typically 10 years, if possible, right, to resurface. So, you're looking at $10 million in assessment over that period to resurface, right? What kind of taxes, so? expense before we know where we're headed. That's the only thing.
What kind of a timeframe does this process take?
What's that?
If you decide to accept the road, the timeframe for this to?
I don't know, never done one. You have to ask Dan.
I think it's effective the day of the meeting, I would imagine, right?
I don't know.
We said that.
You
We
got
did
it.
the
You
job.
have to,
Is it a
where the
county?
deed,
Yeah.
I mean, it would have
It's gotta be
to.
added to your inventory,
Oh, I understand that, but I'm saying
never done it.
You have to deed it over to the town.
So,
Yeah, so
That's the
the
problem.
legal word,
My understanding is I have a surveyor do a legal description and a map of the property, feeding it to you guys. On my end of it.
I highly doubt that. I'm sure that you're going to have an attorney to write up the deed. I mean, there's an abstract that would be, that would.
Yeah,
have
the
to-
surveyor does do the legal descriptions.
Well, it's not gonna be a surveyor, you're gonna need a lawyer.
Yeah, I think
I have lawyers, that's not a problem, but I'm saying that the surveyors. usually
I would
do that.
talk to the lawyer
Yeah,
and ask him what he thinks the time frame.
Gus is my attorney. Do I have to use a different attorney?
I don't know,
Maybe a conflict.
we have to, have a think so. But,
I mean,
you know, it's not gonna happen in a month.
anyway, you cut it, it's gonna cost you some more money, too, I think, you know?
Okay.
Like it or not, I don't like,
I hate prolonging it, I hate having an expense to it, but, you know, we've got to,
we have to do.
Was your answer, or was your question answered as far as the land for what Frank needed? I'm not sure if that was answered or not, or what was your
he
question on
wants to know
that?
how much we need for a turnaround, what space we need
Okay.
for a turnaround. We can approach that.
Yep, okay. All right.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the 16-17 season.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second? Motion and a second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Update on the big brass blowout. I haven't seen the, have I seen final numbers on it, Nancy? As far as money? We had a total of 14 votes.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, 12, well, that's right, 12, actually 14, 12 votes, which is not 24 anglers, 2 per vote. Some from Montreal, some from Ottawa. Bob came out and took some great pictures. The winner, had a 22-pound bag, I think, 21 something, which is pretty good. He caught a 6 1/4 pound bass, which is a pretty good sized bass. He was pretty pleased with that. And he won both the lumper prize and the overall prize. So we get $3,000. We took in 14, well, we had, because there was a payout schedule, because the number of anglers we actually had a third place prize, a second and a third place prize as well. So, bring those numbers with me.
so you took an 18, okay?
Yeah, we paid out,
Plus
yeah,
Paid out what, Nancy?
well, the 3,000 initial prize,
3,000,
and then we paid out, was it 500 and, no, it was 300 and 150 maybe? I brought in, was it 1,800, yeah, but then we took out the second and third prize.
that's about $500 maybe?
I think, oh, the final figure, the amount of money, cash I had was, what, 1,300?
So it's like $34.50 minus $1,800.
We didn't break even, is the short answer. The break-even point, I think, was 20 votes. Yeah, 40 people, I think, would have been 20 votes. But people seemed very pleased with the tournament. They said they would be happy to compete again. I think we should look at, we have money in the promotional budget again. So when the time comes, I think we had to give it a shot. Steve was out there with his grandkids and saw the way in.
Everybody seemed to be having a lot of fun. There were, what, 2 boats from Canada?
Yep.
So I think that there's room for improvement there.
Yep.
And the biggest thing is all the fish lived.
Yep.
They brought them in and separate tub,
Yeah.
to rejuvenate them.
Thanks to the Mike Gagne and the Sandwich River Walleye Association, they were there, but volunteered. I was there, I'll have you know, at 5:10 in the morning, that morning. It was
Did you
dark.
know there were 2 5-10s in a day?
It was dark, I know it was dark and cold, and I don't like to see the AM one very often. So I'm probably not gonna repeat that on a regular basis. I heard there was a 2 in a day. I don't see it very often. But, yeah, it was neat, that Don Meisner was there, he obviously helped a bunch. But Mike Gagne brought the big tank to put the fish in, and they have to fizz them. I'm not sure how you fizz a fish, I didn't go over and see that, but because they put,
A needle and stick a needle,
oh, to let, yeah,
let the air out.
right, because a lot of the
Out of
fish,
water, right?
because
When they pull them up so fast.
Yeah.
because they were in deep water, because the water was warm, so they were down deep, that's where they found them. So they bring them up so the fish can get bends like people can, so they have to let the air out.
So if you had 2 boats one from Ontario, one from Montreal,
Yeah,
and one from Ottawa, one from Montreal, like
Yeah.
you said,
yeah,
and the 10 boats were local people?
yes. Well, not just 2 local ones from Alex Bay, not just Massena local, but certainly the 2 counties, 3 counties. There's one from Malone, I believe, as well.
So should we get Meisner to go to 2 shows in Ottawa and Montreal too?
Well, something to look at.
I mean,
The late,
again,
there was
we
a,
gotta start quantifying things, so we registered 12 boats, we only registered 2 really from out there.
yeah.
That's it. We didn't register from anywhere of the other shows that you went to.
No, from long distance, no, except the guy who set the whole thing up.
Right.
was
That's
from-
that's where I thought we were headed, because he set it up from, where was he?
He's from Western Mass, he's from
Yeah,
actually,
Boston, yeah.
no, further west, but, closer to New York, Springfield area, I think, but, that's, yeah, maybe Springfield, yeah, he's near Springfield. So,
I think
we'll look
Don,
at those things.
I think, did Don do a spreadsheet on this? Did he do a report on this?
we do have we get Dave, we have all the forms, we have all the paper forms. We haven't put those together, we can, but we have all the registration forms, as well as the prizes and payout, who got what. They had that all filled out for us, I should have brought it with me, I didn't, so. But yeah, was it far and wide? No. Dave Morris had to set the whole thing up, the gentleman from Mass says, you know, his goal was 20 boats for a first tournament, and he's been organizing tournaments for 10 or 15 years. We didn't quite make his goal, but he was pleased, and he said it takes time to build them up. Right? A lot of people liked the fact that it was later, sort of after the regular tournament season. We also ran up against the first day of waterfowl hunting, the season for waterfowl opened that morning. So somebody said, well, maybe we should change the date. The consensus was keep the same weekend, which is Columbus Day weekend, because it's a long weekend. And
Canadian Thanksgiving.
right, and then people are gonna need to decide if they're gonna go hunt or gonna fish. But, one team from Canada is a couple, a man and a woman, I don't know if they're husband and wife, I didn't ask obviously. And he says, I don't like to fish with them, I wanna fish with someone else. Apparently they work together and they live together. If we're together too much, we rather fish with other people, so, you know, just, she says, well, I could have brought more teams, but I didn't know if I should have. I said, my God, yeah, you should have. She said, well, next year I'll bring more teams. I said, okay. But apparently the word got out. We had, Don Meisner went to a whole bunch of different exhibits, went to other tournaments, distributed flyers. Chris Flint from Boston, we gotta thank him too, did a lot of work on the thing. He distributed flyers at different shows he was at, different tournaments that he was at rather. So, anyway, I consider it a success. Didn't meet our initial projections, but I was pretty pleased with it, so. Transfers and amendments. Do we have a motion on those? Make in the packet, there are, transfers from, contingency AC to justice contractual, that's for $2,800, $6,000 from fund balance AC to museum contractual, $47.12 from contingency AC to unemployment insurance. There's amendments. If the media or anybody wants to list them, they're all here, I'm not gonna read them all. And we have to correct one error on a budget transfer. I need a motion to approve those. second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we have warrant, pay the bills.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have financial reports as always, for the revenue expense report for September and the year-to-date fund summary. We also have a compact fund summary in there as well. No, that's in the, I'm looking at the budget. No, that's right. I'm gonna read this, never mind. We have a public hearing next week the tax cap override. Eric Gustafson is drafting a local law for that. And the next regular town board meeting is on the 16th. We have some committee reports to do too. We haven't done those in a while.
Can I just, Mike, stop for one question?
Sure.
You said the length of that road was 700 feet,
Around
Roughly.
750 approximately.
and you know offhand roughly what it costs to pave that?
50,000. That was for the complete
Base to
double
that?
course.
Yeah, and then top coat, top.
So let's get course binder and a finish coat on it as well.
Yep.
And it's already painted, volume.
Yep.
That looks nice. I went up there.
On the tax cap, just for clarification for everyone, this year's tax cap is 0.73%.
Less than 1%, that's right.
And then next year's, 2017, is 0.68%.
This year is 0.67.
Yeah.
That's what I had on the Association of Towns, is 7.3 and 6.8.
No, 0.68.
Maybe I have it backwards.
Don't get me going again, Sam.
Some year it might be in the negative.
It might be, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. Okay, now we're on,
Can I just mention, in the tentative budget that we submitted, there was a 2-cent error in the re-levies for the East Casino Water District and the South Main Street, Bucktown Sewer District, that we just had to take 2%, 2 cents from one line and put it in the other. So I just wanted to mention that, so that because every time we change the original, we have to
yeah,
get approval.
oh,
for
I
it.
see what you're saying, you change the original instead of effective.
So we're gonna just make that correction.
Okay,
I wondered if you, I wondered when I did about the CMS consultant.
oh, that's right, that was on the agenda, here, something I forgot. Our contract is expiring for airport engineers with CNS, and we need to, did I send out that email from, the terms wouldn't change for what we're already paying them. We would just continue it. Do you remember how long that was, Nancy?
We did a 5-year, and we really don't pay them anything unless
Right.
they're involved in a project, and they have to bid the project and supply us with an engineering agreement. So it's not like we pay them a retainer.
Right. And they typically get a percentage of the projects that we get grants from the FAA. If they're doing work for us on like the water line work they did or the town bar and stuff, then we pay them for that work.
You have to have one in order to
Right.
receive FAA grants.
Yeah, the FAA wants to know who it's gonna be.
And FAA will be asking because we know the contract's up.
So do you wanna take action on that tonight and remove the contract?
I make a motion that the contract be renewed with CNS Engineers,
4 or 5 years again?
5 years.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to renew, to have CNS Engineering continue as our engineer at the airport. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carries. Very good, thank you. Okay. Committee reports.
The airport, obviously, we got our marking project done, so we closed out the FAA audit from 2015 to 2016. We completed all our deficiencies.
So the stripings, the markings are all done. Good.
We do have an ongoing issue with the taxiway lights. We've had SNL. These lights were installed 20 years ago, so basically most of the wiring is buried underground. There's about 8 pots that we could open up, found some bad connections, but we're still having issues with lights. That project's 2 years away to replace those lights. So at some point, we may have to start digging up cables ourselves and replace it. So everybody's aware of that problem. It's a project, but it's not till 2018.
It is in the capital improvement
Yeah.
plan.
Basically, the design is this 2017. The library, the controls are in place for the heating and cooling. They're up and running. Elaine, there's some training that needs to take place, but she's out of town. And I don't know her schedule, so she wants a couple of her people to be trained along with it, so I left that with her to set that up. So she's gone, I think, for the next couple of weeks, so probably won't happen until sometime in November. The system is up and running. We had one more issue. We found, when we had a cooler shut off, the preheat coil had a leak in it. And we brought a train in on Monday, and it was a copper fitting that had basically corroded. We raised that, and it's back running. So, that is the only piece of equipment we have in the town right now that does not have a service contract. And the last time I think it was probably opened up, there's some guy signed in 2007, was here from training. So, I really think we gotta look at a service contract for that area.
Well, we should do it now or we're doing the budget, so come back to us with it.
I'll call and get one.
That's cool, yeah. And you totally screwed up my agenda, but don't bring the library up. We'll go back to the rescue squad. Anything with the rescue squad, we're talking about?
Yeah, neither the town nor I were able to.
Okay.
I met the next morning with them though, and we talked about the parking lot project, and we talked about a few things, and I have some info on that parking lot project, and Frank, immediately I called him, and he took care of it within a couple hours, and in that budget, they budgeted $45,000 for paving the parking lot, and I wouldn't recommend that we do that at all. If anything, I gave you guys the sheets last week. If anything, I would recommend sealing it, filling the cracks and spraying it. And in that quote, it also counts as repainting it for $6,000. Or just hold it off and then budget down, not do anything and budget it in 2 years or next year. Frank said it's getting pretty right.
Well, I think if you fill the cracks and seal it, you probably get a couple more years out of it.
They didn't have that in the budget, in there. They had said if there were money available, that they'd like to spend $45,000 too.
Well, Roger says there is money there already. In the old, this year's budget or the budget for next year?
Probably in some of the savings accounts
Or, right?
set aside.
So, all right, well, we can talk more about that when we do the budget next week. So
Okay.
that's a better idea, but I appreciate you looking into that.
Can I just mention that their new president called today, and wanted to know, I didn't hear on that lunch, and then took the message, is there anyone that can fix their computers as they have 2 down?
They're not talking computers, are they?
No. Well, the rest of us are owned by the town, so
I'm gonna say the volunteers, did the rescue squad buy them or the volunteers buy them?
I think the town bought them with filling them, probably. But I don't know who fixed their computers in the past, so I really didn't know what to tell them. Or what should I tell them?
Trying to do research on it, see, I can do that, find out where they came from,
Okay.
who's responsible for them.
We've reached out to a firm, there's been discussion about audit of the whole building process. We reached out to they're not called,
Flowers and something.
Bowers and Associates, I gotta remember their new name, to see if they can provide us a quote for doing an audit there. And we just did not hook up with them. We called them, they called us, we haven't connected, so we'll hopefully get a little more Yes,
right?
and we can't do anything with their money, no. Just, it's rescue squad money, not volunteer money. That's what I want.
Thank you. Just a question.
No, that's fine.
Can I ask a question about airport?
Oh, sure.
Are you done on the airport? Did anybody get back to you, Mr. Supervisor, about landing fees report?
We haven't heard back from Pat yet. He was working on it.
I thought I went to Eric, to
Yeah, so, yeah.
him to write up.
But did Pat send us a proposal back?
Well, we need, we need a process in place to
To assess them, I understand,
them,
local law.
to charge.
Right.
So he was supposed to be working on that, and then I think Pat was just gonna look around and.
No, Pat was, as I understood it, Pat was gonna come up with a schedule, a fee schedule.
Oh, I don't know that he'll, I mean, he might tell you what they're charging in other areas.
The last, when I said,
Pat's here on Friday.
what's that?
Pat's here on Friday.
He is?
Oh,
I'll ask him.
What time?
He'll be here by 10:30 at the airport. They're working on one of the projects. They have to come here with it.
Yeah, it's coming, all right. Yeah, I'd like to talk with him, sure.
Okay, I'll call him tomorrow, let him know.
Can I talk to him too?
Sure.
You want to set up a meeting?
You should, yeah, why don't we do
What
that?
time would you like to? Joe?
Pam, you have questions for him too, you say?
Yes, I have specs and plans for him to pick up this year.
Please.
One of the reasons I want to talk to him is because he reached out to me a month ago. And this past year, when we had the airport committee together, we tried to put an event on at the airport. And it came down to Frank, Pat, and me in a room. And there was absolutely no way we could have ran that event. So it was canceled. And so he reached out to me because I had mentioned that maybe it needs to be run by an organization such as the fire department that has the volunteer help to do that. I brought it up at the meeting at the firehouse, and we will be voting on it at our regular meeting in November. But there seemed to be a lot of positive feedback of us taking it over. And Pat, the great guy that he is, would be more than willing to work with us with marketing and setting things up and regulations with TSA and FAA. And immediately he got me into contact with a gentleman from Dutchess County Airport. And this guy apparently puts on a show and a half at Dutchess County Airport. So I'll be reaching out to him. So I would like to say to moving forward, to possibly having a very nice show at our airport next August.
Great.
Let's hope it works.
Are you gonna try to get somebody involved in car codes right off that too? I mean, for guidance and coordination with them as well, or?
I've already got guys interested in that, or got the contact, yep.
Okay.
Come up with a time, Joe?
The only thing I have right now is I'm booked from 1 to 2, and I'm booked early in the morning.
5:10 a.m.
So you don't have time on Friday?
No, the only time I'm committed from probably 8:30 to 11:30, and then I've got a 1 o'clock.
Steak and lunch.
I can meet with him at any time.
So we could do a noon.
You wanna do it noon, or you wanna do it 2?
It's got to be like 2:30 by the time we get back, but yeah, we do 2:30 before you leave. I don't care, noon or 2.
What's
Whatever works.
if we do noon, then we can get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have to wait around.
Will he be done at the airport by then?
I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll let you
Okay,
know.
all right.
So I'll help it.
I'm gonna put it in.
On a nice-
Saturday. Yeah, I only have about 45 minutes to make my 1 o'clock, so.
Well, we can let you ask what you want to do.
Yeah,
and then we can- Al, we can, Tom, we can ask, after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I don't have to work that.
And Pam.
The new tentatively.
Every day is a holiday.
Noon Friday, where are we gonna meet, Frank?
I think we'll be in Joe's office.
Joe's office? Okay.
You guys don't want that?
Frank, you want to?
Yeah, I'll keep them.
Okay, all right. Okay, hospital,
The,
go ahead.
oh. Well, and
I don't have any,
we met, the hospital has, hospital met, we had a regular board meeting, and then the hospital's not meeting until Mondays.
they want to write a date. Every few months, they can't make the third Monday or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's always the time that I go on, but
That's the recording, so yeah, they meet Monday.
Was Bob scheduled to be here tonight as well, or not?
We did, he's supposed to be here every month, and I didn't really say anything to him, and we didn't put it on the agenda, but he probably should have been.
That's a good question.
But, Oh, did, oh, really? Oh, okay, sorry, he should be on every month. He should be on, just for future, he should be on every month. Okay. All right, and I've got an answer for the question you emailed me about, I'll get back to you on that.
I think we should talk, in executive session about a contract for the
Okay.
hospital.
Okay, all right. We can do that.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right.
Go ahead.
Do you want to add something, Frank?
Nope, just when you get done, I got a question, that's all.
Okay. MED next week. I did talk to them about the, letters are going out on the winterization program they have known that those letters are gone out, and people should be getting it this week. I think they said. Okay, library.
Frank pretty much all touched on that.
Yeah, and, trying to, I'm starting to work on getting quotes for the replacement of the wheelchair lift that's non-functional. Some of the problems I'm running into is that the companies will only quote the equipment and replacement. They will not do any modifications to the shaft.
Right.
And that requires you, basically they're saying they want to, everything's got to be done by a licensed architect and engineer, so that's the second part of it, that's the other half of the cost of this installation. So
Okay.
I've contacted Accessibility Solutions and I've contacted Victory Lift out of Syracuse, they're coming next week
Okay,
to look at what we have,
okay,
so.
all right. And
And
I
here on the 26th,
Okay.
Dave Jones.
think did you guys get media advisory? Senator Gerko's gonna be there tomorrow, making an announcement? You guys have,
We just heard that he was gonna be in St. Lawrence County, no one told us where he was actually, it was a weird announcement that he got.
okay, he's gonna be at the library at 1,
Okay.
so, wanna be there, and more than welcome as far as I know. All right, museum. What's new there?
Well, we met on the Sunday, yeah. They're planning their open house on November 3rd at 4:30 till 7. There's going to be some speakers, obviously going to be open for viewing, take a look, and live hors d'oeuvres that they're going to be serving.
That's our regular board meeting too, they play, I'm not sure, later, by that second.
I haven't had a chance to send you guys an email, anybody an email. I asked Frank, a couple months ago, Mary Ellen Cosmo or someone said to me, we have 2 handicap parking spaces in the rear parking lot, but there's no way for a handicap person to access the museum from that spot. So Frank and I met there, was it yesterday, Frank, the day before, I can't remember when it was. My thought initially was, why don't we build a ramp off, if you're looking at the rear entrance, build a ramp off the top step that goes down to the sidewalk where the handicap spots are. And the sidewalk kind of widens out there anyway. Frank's done some investigating, there are pre-manufactured ramps that we could use there. We have a discussion, and I've not discussed this with the museum board, doesn't even know about this yet at this point. But like I said, I didn't get a chance to do the email yesterday. Frank thinks that maybe it would just make, it would be easier access, and make more sense just to run the ramp straight in that entrance from the parking lot, rather than off to the side. I was a little concerned about snow removal, he doesn't think it's gonna be a big problem. So, to be continued, I think we should make that as accessible as possible. The doors obviously aren't power. Anyone in a wheelchair is gonna need some help. I think that's a given. We always put a buzzer there, I would think, for someone to come and help if someone needs that. Not the ideal situation from an accessibility standpoint, but nonetheless, an improvement over what we have now. So, I don't know if we need to have a meeting per se, but certainly the museum board needs to know about it, and I'll try to get an email out tonight before they read the paper tomorrow. We'll let them know we're talking about it.
They also have a conceptual drawing for the addition.
Oh, that's right, they brought that to me yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't get a copy, but they had it there at the museum.
Yeah, I think they were making some changes. They showed it to me yesterday, they were gonna make some changes. I think we'll have that at the open house.
Yes.
We still need, depending on when we sell the building, we need to make arrangements for the hearse for the winter. I know we're looking at a couple different options, I just wanna make sure we don't forget about that.
Well, I think what the thought is now is leave it there as long as possible. So
Right.
they don't have to move it twice.
There's also, isn't there other stuff still out there?
There is.
They go someplace good.
There is stuff like that.
They want storage, yeah.
The other thing that you promised me tonight is the RFP for the sale of the museum.
Eric emailed me today, emailed me about the local law, and I said, yeah, and how about the RFP we're supposed to get? I haven't heard back. So,
TikTok.
I know, it needs to happen, yeah, it needs to happen. So I will follow up with him tomorrow and see
Do
where
you
we're at.
think an RFP is necessary? Can we not just
I
hire somebody?
don't think, personally, I don't think it's necessary. Does anybody want to make a motion to go ahead and hire somebody? I don't care.
So Eric had kind of suggested that Sam and I get
Recuse
Right,
ourselves.
understand that, yeah.
But I mean, as we go along, you're gonna look at probably 2 months after you get an accepted purchase offer
Sure.
before you're gonna close. And we're getting into heating season and maintenance that might have to be done. I mean, if it gets cold, Scott, you wanna buy a museum?
What was the price before?
135,
No, not right now.
in the French 135.
Okay,
Nice building,
I
2
stick,
acres.
I stick my head in the alligator jaws on a regular basis. It appears to me the two busiest, no, there's 3, busiest real estate offices in town are Cajun, Post, and Dufresne. I don't know if that's a fair assessment or not. So, do any of the 3 of us want to make a motion to go with one of them? Or do we have one that we think is, how do you want to go? Do you want to?
I don't know how you handle that.
Wait for an RFP, or you wanna go ahead and hire somebody? Only hurts for a minute.
You want us to put ourselves out there and say, you just said you're the 3 busiest, now you want me and Albert to put ourselves out there saying, okay, well, hire them, that means they're the best. I'm not doing that.
No, I'm not saying any, we're not, I don't think.
I thought we had some parameters about percentage of
That was
sales.
what Eric was supposed to develop in the RFP, so if you wanna wait for the RFP, we can maybe do that next week, or we, get it together. Wait, I have no problem waiting.
We gotta come back here on Wednesday anyway.
Right, okay, we'll wait.
So we never really voted on the price change. I mean, if we,
Do you wanna take,
that might even spark some interest. I mean, $99,000 is a steal on that building.
you wanna take formal action on that, we can do that. Need a motion to lower the price of the museum to $99,000.
You don't think it'll be a problem with the comptroller's office at all? Because we have had a
No.
market for over a
I don't
month.
think so.
Eric
But
said, you know, if you're not getting, if you can't get it for the 135.
I'm not afraid of the comptroller, but he can't do anything to it.
I make a motion that we lower the price of the museum building to $99,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'm gonna recuse myself from this. Just-
Okay, is there a second beyond that?
Sure. I want to get it up, I want to get back in tax rolls.
All right. Any further discussion? We've had it already. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions.
Recuse myself.
Abstain. Nay.
Abstain.
Okay.
Which is it?
Abstain.
It's better to be on the record abstaining, in my opinion, too. And there's nobody can question it.
That's right.
Okay, recreation, Albert.
I went, ice is in, everything went well getting the ice, they are booked, their ice times. The marquee was funded by all donations, I don't think it's up yet, I know I'm going up soon.
No.
Right, but they said it was going up sooner than later, so.
Right, that's what I told you.
So that, I think that's a great additive, I think the marquee will help them,
You have to have it.
yeah, so.
It's gonna be a digital marquee, right?
Yeah, they'll be able to change everything right from the office, and so,
Good.
yeah. And they got a really good price on it. Wow. So, other than that, everything, they went through, they did discuss a few things about the beach, and, they're looking into the beach about the fees and everything, and they're gonna come back with a recommendation on what they're gonna do on the beach, so,
On the parking fee?
yeah.
Okay, good.
And the pavilions they were talking about too.
Okay. All right, BBC, we had some discussion, anything else beyond what we talked about tonight? Good. Chamber of Commerce, obviously, you know, we had the Harvest Festival, was pretty successful. I think they can confirm that, a nice turnout, beautiful weather, had to postpone it for a week. One incident that Frank and Tom could probably,
It was handled, I don't think it needs to be
It's
discussed.
all done.
Done.
okay?
My big one.
That's all I have. Supervisors and councilman report, I have one thing. There was an article in today's Courier Observer, I hope it went beyond just the local paper, I don't know that it did. There was a meeting, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in Canton for the Blue Way Trail Committee. It's sort of a work session. I would encourage everyone to attend that can. This, we talked about before, the Blue Way Trail is an effort to promote all the communities along the Grass River, and encourage people to visit and view some of the attractions there. It's a great effort. There's one already in place for the Oswegatchie River near Ogdensburg. There's one in place for the Racket River. This will be the one for the Grass River. And honestly, we need one for the St. Lawrence River at some point too, but nobody's bitten off that. That's a big chunk to bite off. Nobody's bit that off yet. So I would encourage you to attend, and anyone else from the public or the media to be there as well. It should be interesting. There'll be some good stuff coming up. Okay. Anything from the councilman?
I have a few things. Try to go in order or whatever. I should have probably sent an email out today, but I did mention it last week. We do have an opening on the planning board to fill Bruce's position. I had an interest from Scott Rogers, not the trooper, the retired PD, Scott Rogers. Is interested in the planning board. So I think
You want to make that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
Second.
Statement
From,
from, Phil.
oh, as far as resignation?
It was emailed at one time,
No,
yeah.
but it's, I have to have a signed, actual signed paper in my hand.
Let me ask you this, what if you never get one? I mean, that's the way in the old days, the planning board, you knew somebody resigned as they stopped showing up.
The answer to that, don't know, but that's
If you
what
were
I
not-
was told I need.
I sent the email copy, but it wasn't
I have that, but
signed.
it's not signed.
Okay. So if he stopped down, I sent him an email and asked him to stop down. Yes, but if he stops down and signs that,
Well, he won't be.
You give me up?
He can probably, whatever, he
I
can
have
print
it.
it, sign it. He can just print it, sign it, and send it back, or it can be notarized by you, or?
No, it doesn't need to be
Okay, all right.
notarized, it just needs
Okay,
to be signed.
I think he's coming back to sign that. Although we did go to Florida, they came back again, but
He's got it.
facing the storm there, run away from the storm.
Seems like we need to sign.
I second the motion.
All right, so we can do it contingent on receiving a written
There you
resignation.
go. Perfect.
Is that all right? Scott Rogers, who's on South Racket, not sure the
Yes.
address.
Oh, grass.
No,
South
South
Pratt.
Pratt.
South Grass,
Pratt
South
Road.
Grass, yeah, that's what. Okay. Motion by Sam, seconded by, who's that?
Albert.
Okay. Discussion, we've had enough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Sam, what else you got?
I have, a subject we discussed, last couple of years, actually. I believe you agree with me still, Joe. But I actually brought it up last month as well. Our code 138-4, under signs, says no sign shall be placed on the right of way, public right of way. We've discussed it before. Last month, there really wasn't too many signs out. There's signs everywhere now. I know Frank's had a problem before with the wires getting caught in the mowers, and it's public access property,
Yep.
and they really shouldn't be there.
You want them, I know the village allows temporary signs for X number, however long.
Their code is the same as ours, actually.
They never pick up.
But on private property, it's not supposed to be on public.
No, they're not.
No. No sign shall be placed on the public right of way, 138-4.
These are all the,
He's saying just town roads? All
That's
we
what,
keep
that's
going.
code for the town of Massena, we can't control the village.
Right.
It's up to them to
Right.
police their own,
Frank,
area.
is it difficult for you to pull them, when you guys are out and about? And then, we'll find out who they belong to, their name's gonna be on, if they're political. And, we'll call them and tell them to come and pick them up.
Okay, so that means, let me be clear with this. So if there's a harbor sign out there for the they had the senior citizens had their bazaar. There's some out there of that. If Big Lots wants to do something, and I've seen them do it in the past, okay, is this not, so it's not politically motivated, is that gonna be true for all this, and do we have a system that they're gonna be picked up all the time, or just prior to elections, or how's this gonna work? So
You have realtor signs too in our right of ways.
so we gotta be really, really clear in this, and we have to have a system that's correct, and it has to be fair for everybody.
You've got business signs up there.
Well,
Carpet cleaning guy, there's 2 or 3 of those guys around, and if Frank starts to pick them up, the highway department picks them up, they're gonna go to the highway barn, and they're gonna get left there, and you're stuck.
Plus the time to take them.
We like picking roadsides every other day.
You know, what I'm thinking is go once a week, and say with other, I'm thinking,
But what about
Maybe.
realtor signs? I mean, there are realtor signs in our right of way.
There's mailboxes in our right of way.
I'm not being smart, but
No,
it's
no,
a sign,
no,
it's a sign, right?
I agree.
I hear you.
It's a sign.
What is the,
Can we have
what's the
code
code?
enforcement?
It's called,
No, what's the code sign for?
You're also supposed to UFBO before you put a sign in too.
If they put a sign in an electrical cable, they'll
That's
find
right.
out.
Or a gas sign, because sometimes they can be that close to the surface.
yes, they can.
When you see somebody driving a stake in the ground, and I've seen it before, they could hit a gas line, or a cable line, or a Verizon fiber optic cable. I'm not making this up, this
No,
one,
no,
I went to the training.
You're right.
And that's one of the concerns they got is during election seasons are putting signs in along the roads and utilities. Well, how do you police it?
Yeah, how do you police it? How do you make it fair for everybody, not just
Well,
political season?
And I don't think that taxpayer dollars should be used to go around and pick up some of these signs that they put there either. The person that put the signs there should be picking them up.
I can understand maybe for election, but they never coming back when they come up.
No. I've seen wires there so you pick them up with a lawnmower.
When we pick road tags, we'll pick them up. If they're lying down or if they're still sticking in the ground, and it's,
What do you wanna do? How do you wanna handle it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think we should spend taxpayers' money to pick up signs that somebody placed all over the corners of the
I don't disagree with you.
So I guess we're gonna have to address, whoever put the signs down and have
Well,
them pick them up.
we certainly can call them and ask them to pick them up, but as Tom points out, we can do that with everybody. Which, I mean, businesses and all that kind of thing, realtors and everybody else. I mean, I don't care, if that's what you wanna do, we can do that.
Well, the code is written for a reason, right?
Yep,
If you wanna do anything different, we'd have to change the code.
yep.
Although it does.
Who enforces it?
Code enforcement officers.
There you go. Turn it over to them, that's what they say last. Their responsibility.
And then, in addition to that, the sign shall be displayed only during the sale and shall be removed within 24 hours after completion of the sale. So I'm assuming that's for garage, I don't know if it's for garage sales or house
Are
sales.
there other reasons? I thought political signs were included in the code too somewhere.
No, there's just one liner, it's not in there, I didn't see it, there's one liner that says no signs.
Yeah, no lighted sign shall be used. The sign, then it says the sign shall be displayed only during the sale and shall be removed within 24 hours after completion of the sale.
Wait a minute, what precludes that? What comes before that? It says,
It says no sign shall be placed on public right away.
well, how does it say it's sale? How does, in other words, how does it?
I don't
say
know,
that?
I really don't know, it's something we need to look at and probably rewrite.
And as we said before, there's a bunch of things we need to address in the code. We gotta get this thing in there about charging $10 a day or whatever for dogs too. And we were reviewing the code last I knew, right? So you wanna wait to do it all at once? How do you want, that's what I decided. We need to decide if we're gonna do something about it tonight or next month.
I'm just saying, we brought this up before,
Yes,
you agree with me,
yeah?
and, that's maybe just our opinion, I don't know.
No, I don't disagree.
I am absolutely in favor of following the code, as long as we have, it's fair for everybody. We have a solution for picking them up, or we have a solution for going to tell that person, to notify that person, you can't have that sign there. We've gotta have that in place before we just do it randomly, I think. I gotta make sure first,
Let us know if they care about it.
especially if you drive fast, right?
I mean, I can call code enforcement about it, but then again, how do you want them to handle it? Do you want them to pull them, want them to tell the people?
I guess a public service announcement would be the best thing to do from Andy and Bob.
I can do a press release too for that
Well,
matter.
there you go,
There you go.
that'd be perfect.
That's good.
I can't see spending taxpayers' dollars to pick up signs. So, a press release, I think, would be the, perfect, answer this time.
Okay.
So Eco 360 appointed signs,
Okay, what else we got? Anything else?
Joe, just one question. I know the board's approved the continuation of using CNS as our engineering group at the airport. Is there any documentation that has to go with that, or how do we?
I think there
I don't
is.
think they ever signed, I think they were just meetings.
I don't know if there's anything to sign.
I don't think we ever actually.
Do we
had
send them a
Because we
letter?
can have more than one.
Huh?
We can have more than one.
I understand, but, I mean, do we send a letter or something saying that, you know, for the next,
If everybody wants it, it'll be in minutes.
okay, I'm just,
I mean, I'm asking, no?
you know.
Actually,
Send him the.
Frank, when you call Pat,
Okay,
ask him what procedure we went through.
okay,
Because we interviewed,
right,
what, four or five
I remember, we went
Requests.
through, yep, requests for.
we selected CNS. Just ask him if he would, I'm sure he would.
I can give him a copy of the section in the minutes that have that
Okay.
resolution.
All right, I'll ask him tomorrow. I just was curious, I mean, normally you have to have some kind of, something to say, sign that, you know, but you know,
I don't think so, but okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll find out what we do.
I'll find out,
next, that's
I'll find
fine.
out.
All right, what else we got? Anything
Well,
else?
I just Saturday night, attended the, Massena Volunteer Fire Department, annual banquet.
Yeah.
Which is precludes the, week of, fire prevention, and we have a certificate of appreciation, town council, town of Massena, Joseph Gray, supervisor from you know, get rid of it.
Very nice, I couldn't make the bank one, unfortunately. Yeah, nice, thank you. Good. I get all these fancy going in my office, I want to have any wall space, so. That's nice, appreciate that. Good, okay, apparently we need an executive session, public comment. Anybody have anything? If not, then I would entertain a motion to go to, somebody say something? Oh, they're public. You guys have anything for us? They're not usually shy.
What are you about?
They're not usually shy about asking. Okay, I entertain a motion to go into executive session for apparently contract law discussion. Discussing a contract. Need a motion?
Oh, so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, abstentions. No actions anticipated, I don't believe.